All right, well, hello everyone. Welcome to SF Fire Credit Union's webinar on Home Buying 101. So I have a few housekeeping items we're going to go over before we get started. My name is Tatiana and I work in our marketing department. So just to make sure everyone is connected properly, we want to make sure that you know where your audio controls are. We will be providing a live transcript, which you'll probably see at the bottom for those who are hearing impaired. So to find your audio controls, if you're on desktop, you'll find them in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. And then you'll find your viewing controls on the top right-hand corner. So we'll also be using communication controls, which I'll talk about in a little bit. On a phone or a tablet, you'll find your communication controls at the bottom and then your audio controls up top. If you have a question during the webinar, we will not have chat enabled, but you will be able to use the Q&A button. So that can be found at the bottom of your screen. And during the webinar, we're going to try to answer all of the questions. If we don't have time, then we'll go ahead and be sure to email you or contact you, tomorrow with the answer. And sometimes if we get some similar questions, we just might answer one, but we'll let you know that it's being answered live. That being said, just a few other things. We are holding an opportunity drawing today during this webinar. The results will be announced after the webinar, so you'll be getting an email from us announcing who the winner was. The opportunity drawing is available to attendees and there's no purchase required. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Jeff Hudson, who is our AVP of Real Estate Sales. So Jeff, take it away. Oh, and Jeff, you're on mute.
There we are. Okay, technical difficulties. Bear with me. You don't mind?
Oh, we can hear. Yeah, we can hear you now. Thank you.
All right. Thanks again, Tatiana. So welcome, everybody. We're thrilled that you could join us for a little while this evening. We hope you find this a really valuable use of your time. What I wanted to do is both welcome you and then give a short little introduction regarding San Francisco Fire Credit Union. San Francisco Fire Credit Union was founded in 1951 by firefighters for firefighters. However, the credit union has grown over the years, and we're now focused not only on the needs of firefighters, but of the entire community. We also know that there are many home lenders out there, and it can sometimes seem a little bewildering to understand the difference between one lender and another lender other than who is offering the lowest rate. So sometimes it's helpful to understand what we think distinguishes San Francisco Fire Credit Union from other lenders. First of all, we're local. And the entire team that works on your loan is local, which means we understand many of the unique aspects associated with owning a home in the Bay Area. We're also a portfolio lender, and without going into a lot of minutia, that gives us a degree of flexibility that other lenders just don't have. So our goal for the evening is to provide some information, help you understand some of the key elements to both purchasing and financing a home so you are as prepared as possible for the home buying process. And then Tatiana, were you going to roll to the next slide? There you go. And just a little market information for you. So the information contained on this slide is month over month and year over year market data for the counties in the Bay Area. And what you'll see is an unexpected that in all counties except for Napa, home prices have continued to appreciate on a year over year basis. And the housing market in the Bay Area continues to be very competitive. And so, it's very important that you prepare yourself and are as knowledgeable about the home buying process as possible, which is what we hope to share with you this evening. So with that in mind, I'm going to turn this over to our Master of Ceremonies for the evening, Rashida Rencher.
Sorry, Rashida, you're also on mute. You're still on mute. So maybe if you see a control on your computer, oh, there you go.
Okay, there you go. I don't know, for some reason it wasn't working. So hi,
Yeah.
everyone. Thank you so much for coming tonight. So nice to see everyone. My name is Rashida. I am a loan officer here at San Francisco Fire Credit Union. I've been in lending for 11 years. I've been at the credit union for 7. I love real estate. I am passionate about real estate lending, and I hope all of this information is useful in your home buying journey.
All right, thanks, Rashida. Well, before we dive into kind of our Q&A, this is going to be more of a kind of a casual chat, just about what you need to know before you dive into looking for a home and preparing. We want to learn a little bit about you all of our attendees. And so I'm going to go ahead and launch a survey question. And what we'd like to know is, when are you looking to get into your first house? So go ahead and enter your answer, and we'll wait a little bit to see what everyone has to say. Okay. All right. Thank you. And so I'm going to go ahead and share the results. So it looks like we have a tie between 3 to 6 months and 6 months to a year, which is, that sounds pretty usual. What are your thoughts, Rashida?
That's a perfect time to be taking this webinar. Between 3 months and a year is a perfect time to just gather all of the information that you need, prepare yourself for what's ahead of you, and put yourself in a good position.
Yeah, and I think we might have some notes for the person who wants to find a house in 0 to 3 months. They sound aggressive.
Yeah, let's do
which
it.
Is great. Yeah. So, okay, awesome. Well, thanks so much for participating. So let's dive into it. So Rashida, can you tell us, you work with a lot of our members and, prospects. What are some of the reasons people are buying right now?
It's a great question. Home ownership is one of those things that you have the pride of home ownership. Buying it is an investment for your future, and it helps us with a feeling of security and stability. We're not wanting to rent anymore. We're expanding our, maybe we're have children, or we're expanding with pets. We're working from home. Maybe we need a place for our parents and our extended family, or me personally, I need a place for my plants. It's just a place that we can really call home and we can call ours. There's so much has happened over the last couple of years that we're really extending our work from home and needing more space, and not only all of those things, but also taking advantage of the equity and the appreciation that homeownership brings over years. And last but not least, rates are going up, but they're still low, so it's a really good time to take advantage of what rates we have available.
Yeah, all of that makes sense. And specifically just the fact that we're spending, well, actually, at least we were spending more time in our homes when, during shelter in place and things like that. Like I definitely just thought about rearranging my place many times because you're just staring at the same wall all the time. So yes, great time to make change. All right. So can you talk a little bit about, if someone is ready to start going to open houses, or they feel like they want to put an offer, what are some of the things they should make sure they're doing before they get there?
Great question. It's really the sequence of events should be first getting your finances together, improving your credit, giving yourself an opportunity to, have savings for the down payment and closing costs and reserves, being able to really understand your own budget. What can you truly afford? What is a comfortable payment for you? And we can kind of work backwards to see what that purchase price looks like. using some of the online tools that we have available that can help you get a picture of what you can really afford. It's a good way to start if you're having a hard time getting in touch with a loan officer, or just want to kind of just use some of the tools that we have available before you really take that leap to getting pre-approved. Then you want to, of course, select a realtor. Selecting a realtor is a really important process. And you want to make sure that you're picking someone that's a good fit for you.
Absolutely. And we will be talking a little bit more about that later with Mark Dolby, who is on the call from HomeAdvantage. So he'll be sharing some insights there, which will be great. So can you talk, you mentioned pre-approval. How important is it to be pre-approved in this market? And, what are the steps to take? Is it similar to applying for a home loan?
Great question. It's a very, very important first step. It lets you know what your budget is. It lets us know that you are truly qualified and that you are a serious home buyer. A lot of times right now, agents won't either let you look at homes, or really want to start the conversation with, are you pre-approved? So getting pre-approved is really, really the second step in the journey, because you want to make sure that your finances are in order first, and then you want to see, okay, what can I afford? What does this look like financially for me? So you want to there's three things that we're really going to look at for your pre-approval. We're looking at your credit, your down payment, and your ability to repay the loan. So that's your income. So those are the three things that we're really looking at when we're going to issue you the pre-approval.
Perfect. All right. Well, before we go into the next slide, can you talk a little bit about this income versus debt situation here? So for example, how do I, if say, for example, I just got a new job, do I need to have been at my job for a certain amount of time, or is it okay? Like, say I'm a contractor, maybe, what are some of the information that needs to be gathered?
Great question. So for self-employed, if you're a contractor, then you're considered self-employed. Then we need 2 years of full tax returns demonstrating your ability to keep that business going. If you just got to a new job, that's fine, but we do need a 2-year work history. So we would be using, an offer letter plus a pay stub, but we need to make sure that you're either in the same line of work or you've steadily been employed over the last 2 years.
Awesome, thank you. All right. Well, this next piece, this next question, I think we hear a lot from members or folks just, I think that mortgage insurance can sound intimidating. And it seems like the ideal percentage to put down is 20%. And it seems like you're penalized for not putting down 20% and then having to pay mortgage insurance. Can you talk a little bit about maybe demystifying that, that fear?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to touch on this a little bit, but basically anything that you put down under 20% will require mortgage insurance. But this is a real way for you to leverage the cash that you have and still be able to get into the property that you want. Mortgage insurance actually is a very affordable option, and you may be able to just refinance out of it in a couple of years if you pay it down to 78%, and we can, get an appraisal that shows that there's up to 78% loan to value, then we can drop the mortgage insurance off. So it's not something that is a forever thing. The way that you're paying down your mortgage and the way that the property appreciates really kind of helps shorten that term that's required.
That's great. Do you know on average, how long it takes people to, say you put down 5%? I guess it would depend on the property amount, et cetera, and the type of loan, but what's the average amount of time it takes to get to that 78%?
That's a great question. It's going to depend on if you're just paying the loan as it's scheduled to pay? Are you paying large amounts towards the principal, and how the market is doing in terms of appreciating in value? So there's a couple of different things that are in play there.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. All right. So say you've been pre-approved and you're ready to start looking for places. What are some things that could potentially hurt your pre-approval? Like once you've been pre-approved, like some of the things you maybe shouldn't do.
This is a really important question. So thank you so much for bringing this up. It's really important to keep your income high and your expenses low. That's really, really the most simplified way for me to explain it. Don't buy any large ticket items. The new car can wait. The new furniture can wait. All of those things really, really directly affect your purchasing power. And in this market, you really want to maximize what you can afford, because it's hard out here. It's competitive, and you want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward. And that really means that you're keeping your income high and your monthly expenses low, and that you're saving.
I feel like we need to put that on a t-shirt or something so people remember.
It's a simple, it's just that simple.
That's great. All right. Well, once you've been pre-approved and you found the home that that fits for your lifestyle, what are some of the loan options for people? And maybe can you talk about maybe trends, like loan options that we're seeing a lot of right now, or
Yeah, great question. I think over the last couple of years, we saw a huge trend in 30-year fixed. 30-year fixed was a had a big couple of years because the way the rates were very low, historically low. And it made more sense to just be in a 30-year fixed loan, even though the majority of people are not in that same loan for 30 years. But the rates were so good, they really just didn't compare to the other options that we had. Now, when rates are fluctuating and we're kind of in a volatile rate environment right now, we're definitely seeing more adjustable rate mortgages. One, you can afford a little bit more because the rates are lower, and it's a more attractive rate at this time. But historically, I've been in this business for a while. I've never met anybody that stays in one loan for 30 years. We typically are going to refinance within a 7 to 10 year period, maybe even a 5-year period when you first get the loan. If you have mortgage insurance, you're likely to refinance. If you want to pull out equity, you're likely to refinance. There's just various reasons why we do what we do, but really people are not staying in the same loan for 30 years. So it's nice to look at these other options to see what might be available for you.
Awesome. Great. And then you mentioned earlier at the top of the webinar that we do have some resources available for first-time home buyers. Did you want to talk about those a little bit?
Yeah, I took a little bit of time to review a little bit. There's some great links on our page that there's a calculator that you can kind of play around with. There's a rate search that you can kind of see what rates might be available for you, and it gives you a payment. There's some questions and answers that are there for you. So it's some great resources for you.
Yeah, and I dropped a couple links in the chat earlier. So we also have in our Learning Center, we have recordings from our previous webinars. So you guys will have access to those, and then some articles just like tips and things, best practices that we wanted to share. And then of course, this page that we're showing the link for to our first time home buyers page, which I also linked in chat. So feel free to check that out. And then after this webinar, you'll be receiving an email from us with these resources as well. But of course, Rashida is also a resource for you.
I am.
All right, so we're gonna dive into our next survey question. So the next thing that we want to ask our attendees is, how are you searching for a home? So I'm going to go ahead and launch this poll. If you can let us know what tools you're using. I feel like I need background music for this part. All right, so it looks like, all right, everyone has answered. So I'm going to go ahead and share the results. And it looks like majority are Redfin and Zillow, which is not surprising. I think those are like household names, but one that we have included here, which we're going to talk about in a second, is HomeAdvantage. And they're one of our partners here at the credit union who can help you with your home search. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Mark Dolby. And yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself, Mark.
Well, fantastic. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, I've been in mortgage banking for 20 years. I work with many of the top credit unions in the country. Really, our premise and our mission here at HomeAdvantage is to help credit union members save money when they buy and sell real estate. It's that simple. And so there's some fantastic member benefits that I'm gonna share with you here. So when you think of HomeAdvantage, and I know when I saw you searching for Zillow and Redfin and all these other sites out there, HomeAdvantage is your credit union's turnkey real estate place, right? So you have a ton of tools available to you at the credit union. One of the great things about them is they're insulated at the credit union. None of your information is used or sold. I saw a lot of Zillows, and when you go to Zillow, every bit of your information is used and taken and sold. So look at HomeAdvantage. It's a member benefit you have, and really it's there when you buy or sell a home, you can save money using HomeAdvantage. There's online property listings, there's home values. It's a true MLS search portal for you. And when you're there, you can look at different demographics, you can save information, you can have the information come back to you. But one of the valuable tools there at that site is that you're within the credit union. You're not outside in the internet and having your information be exposed. So I highly suggest you check it out. One of the great pieces of the program is that you can work with a dedicated HomeAdvantage agent that's there to assist you the whole way, not just, hey, are you pre-approved, but really help you on your journey, answer questions for you. So it's really a program that your credit union provides for you. And we have great agents. I'm going to talk more about them as we go forward here. But one of the great benefits of the program is you earn a cash reward, and it can be significant. National average is $2,500. It can be pretty significant. I'm going to talk about that here in a minute, but it's a free member benefit. The key features are a web portal. We're going to talk about that. Obviously, I think it's great. The network of certified agents and really the cash rewards, main points of the program. The web portal is co-branded with your credit union. It's ADA compliant. If you look on it on your phone like it was an app, it'll act the correct way. But a lot of the content is amazing. There's a ton of property listings that are great. There's property valuations, market trends. You can really drill down into this information and have it send you when a home comes up that matches your criteria. There's a ton of tips and calculators. I'm going to talk about your cash reward here in a minute, but there's a calculator right there on the web portal. So it's all based on the sales price of your home. So if your home was $800,000, you'd have X amount of cash rewards, or if it was $1.5 million, it'd be X amount, right? But great calculators and tools for you to use. There's a lot of mortgage information. The cash rewards is always there for you to look at. And then the agent network, you can always look in agent bios, and there's just a ton of cool tools there for you.
So quick question. So two things, Mark. One, just for the attendees on the call, the way you can get to this site is through our website under the home loan section, but we'll go ahead and include the link in the email, the follow-up email that we'll be sending out tomorrow. But my question, I guess, about the agents, and you're probably going to talk about this more later, but are the agents based on your geographic location? Are those the results that you'll see?
Yeah, absolutely. The system is intuitive. So as you put in your zip code and where you're at, it'll pop up with agents, and you can search agents nationwide. That's one of the great things about this program. If you were moving to a state in the Midwest or on the East Coast, the HomeAdvantage program is a nationwide program for you. But yeah, there's a ton of resources and tools there for you as a member.
Awesome. All right.
All right, a little bit more about the agent network. And, we talked about realtors, and I like to use the word agent because it's trademarked, right? And I'm not a realtor, but at the end of the day, our agent roster is dedicated professionals. I get to work closely with them. All of them have been in the business quite a long time, 15 years plus is the average. And they're really all-star agents, and they're dedicated to you and the credit union, right? We're trying to make this a purchase of your home journey, not just are you pre-approved. So as you use the member benefit and you connect with HomeAdvantage agents, the program is really designed to support you. So those agents really understand that. And with the cash rewards last year, we gave back $7.1 million to credit union members. Anytime they bought or sold real estate, the program is used for selling or buying real estate. But the agents are fantastic. There's a ton of ongoing support that the agents do with the credit union. So they're really tied into the credit union culture and network, and real advocates of the credit union. So as you work with HomeAdvantage agents, I think you're going to feel that much closer to your credit union. Let's go to the next slide. Awesome. All right, the cash reward. Who doesn't love money, right? And that's what's great about this program. I mean, HomeAdvantage was built and designed 21 years ago to help credit union members save money when they either buy real estate or sell real estate. So it's a free member benefit to you if you're looking at buying a significant home, like at $1.5 million. You can look at your cash reward as 20% of the agent's earned commission. One of the ways you can do this is on the co-branded website where you would search for homes and agents. There's a tool there, and you could play with it. Go, if the home was 800,000, it'd be X, or if it was 700,000, or if it was $1 million or 1.5 million. And so I highly suggest you go to the site and check it out. But here's an example. I mean, you could, just by using the program, great tools, great agents, you could get $9,000 back as a cash reward, which is significant. It's just by being a member of the credit union.
So that is significant. Can I use that cash rewards as a down payment assistance? Like, how can I use that towards the purchase? Can I use it towards my down payment?
Absolutely. It's a great question. And so it's kind of an either or, is depending on the underwriting, but the monies can be used on the closing settlement right at closing, or it could be a check back about 3 weeks after the closing. So it's really based on qualifying factors and underwriting managers. But yes, this money can be used at the closing table or as a cash, a check back. And it's usually, and I'm glad you asked this, because it's usually about 3 weeks. It's a good full 3 weeks to get this if you do a check back. Good question though. Yeah, here's one thing I would say about the cash rewards. I hate to use this term, but you can double dip. So let's say you sold a home, you could earn a cash reward. And if you then bought a home, you could earn a cash reward. And there's no cap to any of it. So let's just say I saw, I don't know, it was a $2 million home. It was $14,000 in cash rewards. But look at this, every single time you buy or sell real estate, it's a member benefit to you, and you can really save quite a bit of money. Go to the next slide.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So I love this little quote right here, because it's so what COVID was, right? Like last year, staying at home became a necessity. And it really, caused a lot of homeowners to really look at their renewed gratitude for the home. And I looked at my home this way, and I was like, I love it. And because I have a little bit of space, and I have twin 10-year-olds, so the space is getting smaller, but it, having a roof over your head and, owning a home in COVID, during or post-COVID or wherever we're at, there's just this sense of ownership and pride of having your own home, and during this kind of crazy times that we're living in. So I just thought this was good. So Unison also stated in 2021 that the American homeowner, some of these were kind of interesting, that 64% of American homeowners say living through a pandemic has made their home more important than ever. That's a high number when you look at a number of Americans. So clearly people want to be at their house and have a safe place. 83% of homeowners say their home has kept them safe during COVID. 91% of homeowners say they feel secure, stable, and successful owning a home. And kind of we talked a little bit earlier about that pride of ownership, and it's so true. It's just like anything. When you own it, you take care of it. And the pride of ownership is really, especially in this post-COVID world, I just think important. And getting out there on that homeowner journey, here, we at HomeAdvantage are absolutely there to help you. It's good. So what are some of the current challenges in the market? You know, one of the bullet points that I see down there, buy experience and motivation. You know, it's a tough market. There's a term called buyer fatigue because it's really tough. You put in offers, and I get it. It's a tough market. Inventory is very, very difficult. You know, getting pre-approved, loan contingencies, loan appraisals. Many of these people selling homes are asking you to waive your contingencies. So it's a very aggressive time to buy a home. What I would say is use as many tools that are available to you. HomeAdvantage is a fantastic tool that's available to you at the credit union. Look at your credit union, use tools that can help you get knowledgeable. You can use our MLS search tool to look for homes and not be out on the internet, right? Just kind of insulated at the credit union. So there's a lot of things that are happening and challenges in the market, you know, working from home, kind of hobbies that you have, buying second homes, you know, what strategies you would want to look at. One of the things that I think is cool is our agents are really, really good at helping you understand what you want. Not just saying, oh, hey, are you pre-approved and making this transactional, but really making it, hey, how can I help you? How can I lend my experience to help you? Because everywhere's different when you look at buying a home. Every county is different. Everything's aggressive, but having those little no's are really important with the market.
Well, Mark, it looks like we just got a question from an attendee. And the question is, does HomeAdvantage only work if I get a mortgage from SFire Credit Union?
So this is a fantastic question. Thank you, whoever asked this, because no, it doesn't. Right. So if it's a member benefit of you being a part of the credit union. It's our mission to give back to our members, and this is a member benefit. And so you could actually use this and fund your loan at a different lender. But one of the things we do is we work so closely with the credit union and San Francisco Fire Credit Union, right? And we're motivated to help exhaust any resource we can there. But no, you will earn your cash reward just by using the program and just by being a member of the credit union.
Awesome. Great. And thanks for that question. All right. Well, speaking of questions, and now we're on to the Q&A portion of the webinar. So if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and type them into the Q&A tool. But we do have some questions that we received before the webinar that we thought we'd address and go ahead and answer here live. So one of the first questions here is, are there any offers that SFire Credit Union has for first-time home buyers?
This is a great question, and it's a question that we get quite often. At the moment, we don't have any specific first-time home buyer programs, but we will be rolling out something shortly. A lot of the first-time home buyer programs and down payment assistance are going to come from the cities that you're looking to buy in. Usually they will require you to sit in like a seminar and kind of learn about what the kind of first-time home buyer programs they may offer. But right now, we don't have anything specifically for first-time home buyers, except for all of the tools that we have online that can help answer questions and kind of help you understand what you can afford in terms of a budget.
Awesome, thank you. Another question that we have is, will my pre-approval be applicable in other states? This is super relevant because I think in the last 2 years, a lot of people have maybe left California. So how would that work?
It's a great question. We here at San Francisco Fire are a local lender, so we only We only lend to people in California, all of California. We do underwrite to Fannie Mae, so it's possible that it would be similar in other states, but because I am specific to California and California lending, I can't really speak on, if this pre-approval would be valid in somewhere else. I would probably suggest contacting a local credit union and getting reapproved in the state that you're looking to buy.
That makes sense. We have a follow-up question to the first question about the offers for first-time home buyers. So I think in your answer, you mentioned that, we'll shortly, have some kind of program. And this person would like to know, like, what kind of time frame that looks like.
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
I'm don't hold me to this, but I think it's going to happen in the next couple of months. Jeff, do you have any insight? Yes.
So what Rashida is referring to is through the San Francisco Mayor's Office, there are several different programs. Now, that's dependent upon funding that gets approved. So we've learned that there hasn't been any funding approved for 2022. So quite honestly, unless there's something different happens, we're not expecting funding for this particular program until 2023. Having said that, you can get into a home for as little as 5% down. And that's on conventional lending without going through any sort of other programs. So my recommendation is have a conversation with a loan officer. It allows you to prepare and get educated. And even if there are a couple of steps between actively putting an offer in on a property, it helps you understand what the steps need to be taken are. But to answer the question specifically about the Mayor's Office, we're not expecting funding until 2023.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So it looks like another question that we had was, can you please touch on the income requirements for married applicants looking to get pre-approved?
Sure. This is a great question. It's gonna depend. There's several things that this depends on. Are the married couples, are they working? Are they self-employed? Are they retired? We're gonna look at each individual. So we're looking at, we're gonna take the middle low credit score. So if you have one that has not so great credit and one that has great credit, we're going to use the not so great credit. So you want to make sure that that's at least at our minimum of 620. But for each borrower, we're looking at 2 years of income. So 2 years W-2s, a month of pay stubs for W-2 workers. We're looking at 2 years 1099s and pension income or Social Security award letter. Or if we're looking at self-employed borrowers, we're looking at 2 years of business tax returns, personal tax returns, and also business bank statements, 3 months. So that's a question. It varies. So I hope that addressed some of the questions.
Absolutely. We did get a question. Oh, we have a couple of questions coming in. So there's a HomeAdvantage question. So can I use my own agent with HomeAdvantage?
You cannot, unfortunately. You have to use a HomeAdvantage agent. So that's part of the program, right? It's a kind of a credit union centric agent roster program. So you absolutely have to use an agent that's in the HomeAdvantage program. But it absolutely is perfect for first-time home buyers. I was trying to piggyback off that because, when you look at how do I have real monies, right, as I'm going to do these big transactions, HomeAdvantage is a tremendous tool for you to utilize, and it's right there available to you. So it can really offset some of the fees, some of the monies that you're incurring.
Yeah, awesome. Another question that came in is regarding an earlier topic. We were talking about mortgage insurance and down payments. So they're asking for 5% down. Is there a mortgage insurance that's needed?
Yes, anything under 20% down, mortgage insurance will be required.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, and great question. So the last question that we have here, and feel free to ask more questions, we do have time, is does SFIR Credit Union offer competitive rates?
Jeff, you want to take this one?
Yes. Well, the answer is yes. We price to Fannie Mae, so we should be among the most competitive lenders out there. You know, everything can change day to day, and there are lenders out there that will try to emphasize particular loan programs. But I will tell you, by and large, we're extremely competitive against all the competition.
Excellent. So it looks like that concludes our Q&A. Of course, if you have more questions after the webinar, you can email us. You can just respond to the email that we'll be sending out tomorrow. Oh, we have something just popped up. Okay, someone asked, this is a great question. I don't know the answer to this one. Do we ever sell loans?
I'll take that one.
Okay.
The answer is sometimes, but I want to preface that a little bit. So conforming loans or high balance loans, and I don't get into too much technical information, but loans below a certain amount are eligible to be sold to Fannie Mae, and occasionally we do. We're choosing not to at the moment. Being the Bay Area, most of our loans tend to be in the jumbo area, which don't get sold. But even if a loan is sold, your servicing is retained by the credit union. So it should be very transparent to anybody whose loan is sold. You shouldn't really notice any difference. The payment still goes to the credit union. Any issues that need to be resolved are handled by the credit union. So it's important to understand that while the note itself might be sold, the servicing is retained by the credit union. So there should be very little difference noticed by the borrower.
Awesome. Great, and great question. Let's see. We have another one that came in. This is great. Is it better to save money for a down payment or use that money to pay down debt?
Oh, great question.
Yeah.
Pay down the debt. Most of the time, that's the
Yes.
better answer because you're paying interest on that borrowed money. So really to just put yourself in a better position is to pay off that debt and then start saving for the down payment.
And can I add to that a little bit? Because I absolutely agree with Rashida. But this is where a conversation with a loan officer is very, very important because as you take a look at the details, you may have the income and you can continue to handle that debt, but perhaps you do need the down payment. So I'm going to tell you as a rule, Rashida is spot on, but that can vary from individual to individual. And this is where a conversation with a loan officer and just the overall pre-approval process really kind of has some value because you find out where you fit into the whole loan process and any particular steps that are going to help you, move down that road.
Awesome. Another question that came in is, what is the turnaround time to get pre-approved and how long is the pre-approval valid? So this is like a three-part question. So those are the first two. And then also, what impact does this have on your credit score?
Okay, great questions.
Yeah.
So it should generally take, a couple of days to get the pre-approval. You're going to apply, you're going to send your documents, and then my suggestion is contact your loan officer and be in contact with them so that we can make sure that we are issuing your pre-approval in a timely manner. The pre-approval is good for 3 months, and it is a hard inquiry on your credit. I can't give you an exact amount on how much it will affect, but it is a necessary step, so it's for a good cause.
Yeah. I mean, it shows that you're a serious, buyer, so that makes sense.
And it's very typical for you to maybe get 1 or 2 or even 3 updated pre-approvals in the journey. It's there's not a set time and how quickly you're going to get an offer accepted or find the house of your dreams. So, it is a process, and sometimes it does take a little patience, but again, it's worth it.
Yeah. Great. Well, great question, or questions. Let's see. So the next question that came through is, do you use a certain credit bureau?
Oh, that's a great question. We do a tri-merge. So we're pulling all 3 and we're going to take the middle low between the 2 borrowers.
Got it. All right. And then another one that came through was, do you think it's important to put 20% down in order to avoid the PMI?
Not necessarily, depending on your own situation, even depending on the property. The property, let's just say, for instance, that you find the perfect property, but it needs a little bit of work. You might want to keep some of the cash so that you can do the improvements that you want. You can always restructure the loan later. We can refinance. It's really going to just depend on each situation.
All right. So another question came through, and this might be related to the things not to do, maybe, we'll see. But what effect does purchasing a new car prior to the pre-approval process have? So this is not after you've gotten pre-approved, it's before.
Before. Okay. So I don't have, there's a tool that we use I use online, so you can kind of play with the numbers. So you can say you're going to put in your debt for the car, you're going to put in the purchase price, and then if you take out that monthly payment, you can see how much more of a buying power that will increase. It's pretty significant depending on what kind of car you have, what kind of car payment you have, but it's a pretty significant effect, quite honestly.
Okay. All right. Well, it looks like we answered all of the questions. So thanks so much for asking those. Those were great questions. So yeah, I would just want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. This was great. Thank you to the panelists, Jeff, Rashida, and Mark. Tonight we learned about the online tools that are available to members, whether it's our website or our partners at HomeAdvantage. We learned that it's important to get pre-approved and, the steps you need to take to get there before you go to open houses and start putting in bids. And then lastly, again, we learned about HomeAdvantage, the cashback rewards, and the agent network that you have access to. So we will be conducting the opportunity drawing tomorrow during the workday. So we'll be sending an email out to everyone, letting you guys know who the winner was, and we'll be mailing that out to you. It's a $50 Visa gift card. So again, thanks so much for attending, and please reach out if you have any questions about your home buying journey. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.